about it. They just say,
Wow.
whatever to get you off my back, I'm going to say it. But that means there's another problem. If you can get to this place with name calling, there's another problem under there that needs to be addressed.
Hey, I know one of the things you do, you've told me to do in the counseling room, is you like to watch couples interact,
I
not
do.
necessarily in conflict, but just interact in general to see how. Tell that story. Do you don't encourage them? You put topics on the table.
Well,
Tell me what you do.
well, sometimes if I ask a question and a person he or she is responding, and then the other person
Yeah,
interrupts
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
starts. So
yeah,
I'm going to allow that to continue unless it gets bad or
yeah.
something. But I'm going to allow that to continue because it gives me an idea of what he or she is going through when they are communicating. When they're trying to communicate. So if I'm trying to communicate and you keep cutting me off, I never get my thought out. I haven't expressed myself really.
Hmm, hmm.
It's just, it's just a back and forth, no understanding. That is very is not only rude, but it's you're not getting any. There's no progress there.
So part of what you do in the counseling room is you observe perhaps conflict to see how they fight,
Hmm.
so you then counsel and correct on how you should argue.
Right, and like I say, one time I did let it go too far, and I had to stand up and I asked him to leave.
Really?
Hmm. I sure did. I said, "You need to step out and cool off a little bit." But I wanted to see what she was experiencing because she had tried to tell me and he was trying to explain and he got really upset. So I had to stand, as usually what I do is I stand up and get attention. And then I said, "Would you just leave the room and cool down a minute and we'll reconvene in just a
Okay,
moment."
okay. So let me ask you this. A couple that's that animated with you there, what's happening at home when they're just by themselves?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot. That's why I wanted to see that. I wanted to hear what was going on, but she had already told me. Yeah, she had already told me because usually I meet with a couple individually first. So I listen to what he thinks the
Yeah,
problem
yeah, yeah,
is,
yeah.
and I listen to what she
Yeah,
thinks the
yeah,
problem
yeah.
is. And when I bring them together, then I'm looking for those things. Is that is that what she said? Is
Yeah,
that what he
yeah.
said? I'm looking for those things so that we can address them. And I never go back and say, he said, she said,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything. I
yeah.
don't do
So
that.
you don't tell
No.
the person
Mm-mm.
what the other person said and
No.
the individual said. Okay, I
No,
got
I
you. I
bring
got
it
you.
around and maybe a question or something like that, and then allow them to elaborate on it. But this particular person was dealing with some other issues. It was just a very,
Mm, mm.
whatever, but it went too far. And I apologized to her. I apologized to him, and they both apologized to each other. So by the time we left, and I de-escalate
Yeah,
before
yeah,
they
yeah,
leave
yeah.
my office. And so we got to a good place. We made some commitments of not saying certain
Mhm,
things,
mhm.
and then we were
So
able to move on.
so that's part of our first point is no name calling.
Yeah,
So you
no
made a
name
commitment
calling.
not to say, okay, so no name calling. Okay, you say no bringing up the past.
Right. If the past is not in this whole thing, why are we bringing it in? What are you trying to accomplish there? Because usually if you're bringing in the past, you're trying to say this is what you did before, which is a negative, ugly, not
Mhm,
being
mhm,
nice, not
mhm,
being
mhm,
kind. So that
mhm.
doesn't need to come in. And it's okay to take a time out if you need it. Take a time out. Say, "Give me a minute. I need to go," but you got to make sure you come back and
Mhm,
talk about the
mhm,
situation.
mhm.
But sometimes timeout is important.
So when I hear you say timeout's important, I think about we write about this in the book that you want to make sure when you're prepared to engage in conflict. I know sometimes it's spontaneous, but you want to try to be intentional in terms of having the right tone,
Hmm.
making sure it's the right time,
Right.
it's the right turf.
Right.
So what do we mean? I've said this to you before, and here's what's amazing about our relationship journey. And we do these shows to speak to our younger selves. Here's some things just Almighty God just gave me. I didn't have the teaching, the training, but a lot of this is just out of our own life. So
Hmm.
when we say right tone, 40 years ago, we're just married. You remember what I used to say to you?
Hmm.
We'd be talking. I say to Teresa, ho, 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 take some of the bass out your voice. That's the first thing you need to do. Take some of the bass out your
You
voice.
did say that,
So
yeah.
I didn't have any training. It's like just God gave that to me because it's like, and I would say to you, I guess I was just transparent enough and just by the grace of God, hey, Teresa, help me help you. What do you mean,
You've
Jim?
seen
I
that?
say that a
Yeah,
lot.
you've said
I
that
said,
one.
because now here's what I know about me. When you raise your voice, I'm not going to listen. Doesn't matter if you're making sense. Doesn't matter if you speaking with the voice of God. The fact that you hollering or yelling, which you don't do that,
No.
but if the voice is, but I'm hypersensitive to elevated voices.
Well, I used to scream at the kids because I was downstairs, they were upstairs. I'm trying to get their
Yeah,
attention.
yeah, yeah,
It wasn't the texting and stuff at the time.
yeah, yeah.
That came a little bit later, but you didn't like that either.
So
So